Cheers everyone, Cloudfather here. Today we're going to play with a piece of really dirty, it's almost like butcher block. It's basically hardwood, probably mostly oak. And what we're going to do is use the laser to strip paint off this. It'll be interesting to see what it takes to do that. So stay tuned. Okay, we got everything all exercised here. Make sure we got a connection. Yep. So we're going to do a board cleaning exercise today. We'll see what happens. So we want it to be about 125 wide. 425 tall, and then we want to position this at 51, and 40. No, actually that needs to be 200. And we're going to run line mode, but we're going to use fill. The reason for fill is because we want to take all the paint off. So for the first pass, we're going to, we'll do a max of 50 and 35 watt mode. I'm going to do 16,000. As a starting point. Lines per inch for paint stripping, let's go with 100 and see what that looks like. There's a lot of different ways we can do this, but I'm curious what it takes to get most of the paint off the surface. And I suspect we'll end up doing multiple tries. So we're going with 1600, 50, bidirectional fill, 2.5% overscan, line interval of 0.254, 100 lines per inch in one pass. And there are no shapes, so we're going to fill them all at once. So let's go do our focus check here. Yeah, that should work. Okay, the console says we're happy. We'll turn all the GRBL on so we can see. Alrighty, so that's going to run for 20 minutes, so we'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, as you can see, it did a really good job. I was surprised. You can see a few lines there. That's because we were doing 100 DPI instead of 300. But it actually took the green paint, which there were 3 coats of, right off, and it took most of the primer off, and there's 2 coats of that. So we're going to keep running it until we get it down to clean bare wood all the way across. So we'll probably run a couple 3 passes, so we'll check back when we're done. All right, here's what we got. This is pass 2. We did this at 16,060, so we bumped the power up 10%. And it's doing a fairly good job. We have a little bit of primer left, so we need to do at least one more pass. You can also tell where the wood is not level. The wood is cupped, so it's leaving some of the stuff on the side because it's higher than the center is, which is where the focus was done. So we'll put this in for another pass, and we'll be back in about 25 minutes. Okay, this is pass 3, and we're pretty deep now into the grain. This is clean enough where I can take it and sand it, which is what I'm going to do next. So 3 passes at 60% in 35 watt mode is really good for taking off the majority of the paint. If we go any deeper than that, then we're starting to really cut into the grain. So fairly effective. You could probably get by with 2 passes at 60. Okay, we're going to do some glass here. This is just regular old mirror from Lowe's. I'm still making lots of Fred Flintstone corners, but we're going to try a 2-pass graphic, 1-pass sketch, and see how that works with this type of material. We're doing the glass the traditional way from the backside. And then I think later maybe we'll put a little alcohol ink on this depending on how clear the image is. So we'll let that run. It's going to run for about 30 minutes, so we'll check back then. Okay, we're going to go do some more Native American. If you'll notice, we have a white piece of acrylic plastic, which the laser will just ignore. And that's to make sure that we don't get honeycomb marks on our mirrors. We just finished a mirror a couple minutes ago. And this guy turned out real pretty. So we're going to try to do a little bigger one of those. But I had to do a lot of work to get the honeycomb clean. So this time we're using our brain and seeing what we can do. This is what the earlier project this morning turned out like. So it did a nice job of stripping off that butcher block oak. And we'll put that in the laser here this afternoon and do something fun with it. So we'll go ahead and start our other job here. And yes, we do have a gorgeous spring day. It's about 70. It's just really nice. I should be outside playing. So my compromise is I'm in the garage with the door open. So we'll see you in a few. Well, here's the next one. This came out really nice except for the crack. That's probably for me not cutting the glass correctly, but I'm going to do another couple here just so we can kind of see what happened with that. The first one really turned out nice. I was very happy about that. So we got another one in the hopper here. We're going to let that run. It'll take about 20 minutes. Again, we're using the white cast acrylic. It's 3 mil on the back or on the front side of the mirror. That way we keep all the marks of it. So this is our final pass. This will run about 40 minutes. We've tweaked the power a little bit. We've tweaked the cut so we see if we can get an outline. We've resized the image to fit on a smaller piece of glass. So we'll see how this one runs. A little too much dynamite. You can see we got over the threshold for cracking the glass. This was done with a trace pass. And so we need to tune that down from 600 at 70% to probably 2,500 at 50%. Other than that, it turned out really nice, but the problem is it was just too much heat even for the thick mirror. So we'll try that again. So the next one is this guy up here. This we did at 16,060, and it's burned a little too much. It's got good pocketing. I can see most of the layers of graphics, but it wasn't clean. Now this one you'll notice is a lot cleaner. You can see the details in the hummingbird's nose and face. You can see the details on the wings and so forth. And the tail has got much cleaner details. So this was done at 16,050. So for this particular oak, that seems to be pretty good. This is a piece that earlier this morning was green. So we did laser milling to pull off probably 1.5 millimeters of the surface. Then we just did a light quick sanding, and then we coated it with Zinzel, which is shellac. This is the original hummingbird image. And as you can see, depending on how you're looking at it, it's both a mirror surface, but it's also an engraved surface. So that one I was pretty happy with. Now I got to figure out how to cut the glass cleanly so I don't destroy it when I do that. This one was done at 16,070, and unfortunately just fractured all the glass. When the sketch pass started running, that's when the glass finally broke. It's the first time I've broken this type of glass. We were pretty close, and this would have done really well with alcohol ink because you can see the really deep ridges, which allows us to block the flow of the alcohol ink to allow us to do detailed coloring. So that bears some more tinkering. We'll have to do some more playing with that. We've got a piece of aluminum with the same image that is painted black that we're playing with right now. So we will check that in about 30 minutes. So that one, we needed a little bit more burn on that. Didn't quite get all the way through. The graphic detail is really good, but the other problem is this material, of course, is scrap and it's not flat. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Cloudfather out. Okay, that's our final cut. Those came out pretty nice. Nice piece of recycled butcher block oak. So I think the wife will like those. Thanks everyone for watching. Cloudfather out.